Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, and I'm back with do my second and final video for today. Barnabas Collins, yes, everybody's favorite vampire, Dark Shadows, man, versus Angel from Buffy. Look, David Borat, is that his name? Listen, it doesn't matter what his name is. Okay? Listen, we all know Angel was inspired by Barnabas. Well, not just Barnabas Collins. Let's be honest about this. He was inspired by Quentin, too. I want you to honestly think about this with me and think long and hard. Yes, he has this sympathy of as Barnabas, and he's very easy on the eyes, and okay, but he was also a party animal. Okay, and who does that remind us of? Everybody's favorite person they wanted to hang out with, Quentin Collins. He was a ladies' man. Not saying Barnabas wasn't. I mean, he was on the beaches of Martinique having sex with Angelique faster than you could say hey. Um, but meanwhile on the beaches of Los Angeles, Angel is, laying on the beach, crying, bitching, and moaning about, oh, Buffy, so Buffy, I lost Buffy. Get over yourself, Jack, okay? Look, if California's Lord and Savior Tupac Shakur were still alive, he would have told Angel, listen, son, come, come, get off that beach and come with me and I'll show you the finer things in life, okay? All due seriousness. Look, when you compare these two characters, my God, that was for my friend. Shout out Darnell Weeks. That was for him. We've been going back and forth joking about this, but my God, all right. All due seriousness now. Now, for those who, because I'm going to get into both characters here. For those who don't know each of these characters, let's start off. There is Barnabas Collins, played by Canadian actor Jonathan Frid, and he was a stage actor. Obviously, he was a trained actor, and you he got cast as Jonathan Frid, and thank God, really. I mean, I had interviewed Will McKinley and Nancy Carsey. Shout out to them. They were gracious enough to give me their time. And I had asked them how important was it, not just for Jonathan Frid, but for Dark Shadows, that Jonathan Frid was cast in this role. And they gave a great answer. And huge is the word I think both of them used, if I'm not mistaken. And it was. And what I take away, the reason I ask that question is because that's how I've always viewed it. Here's Dark Shadows. They could have casted anybody. They casted somebody who wasn't known, who wasn't a star. They had literally an actor, and look, not saying Dark Shadows didn't already have actors and actresses. It did. It had great actors and actresses already in it. But here they casted this actor who was very well trained, just like the others were, and he comes in, and the writers not knowing where they were really taking Barnabas really did help. You know, it favored Fred in many ways. Fred, sort of pulled back at times, but there's times too when Fred said something, when his Barnabas Collins said something, it always sticks out every time. When Jonathan Frid's mouth comes open, his posture, well, not just his mouth coming open, but his mouth coming open, and not necessarily it being the fangs, but it being words coming out. For example, one of my favorite lines is, Josette's portrait. I was at Collins. Where were you when I was turned into something even my own father loathed? If his ghost is here with yours, tell him I've come home. I've come home to reclaim this house as mine. I am free now and alive. And it's it's words that have always stuck out for me because it's the meaning behind it's not necessarily the meaning behind those words. It's the feeling behind them. It's a feeling of hurt, of happiness. It's literally emotion all rolled into one. and you've just never seen a vampire prior doing that. Dracula didn't do that. I mean, whether it was Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee, and I love them both. I love Bela Lugosi. I love Christopher Lee. But they did not do what Jonathan Frid did for the vampire. They did do things, don't get me wrong, take nothing away from the legends of Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee. But the one thing Jonathan Frid did that they did, I'll say this: Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee brought their own legends to the role of Dracula, right? Well, Jonathan Frid brought his own legend to the role of the vampire as Barnabas Collins, and that legend has been repeated and attempted to be duplicated several times over. Angel, Vampire Hunter D, Blade, for God's sakes. The Jonathan, even I would dare say, even Gary Oldman. I almost said Gary Sinise. Gary Oldman's Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's a touch of Barnabas in there, in my opinion. If you disagree, please do. What do I mean by is when he's literally trying to charm, uh, um, God, the girl from Beetlejuice. Oh my God, I'm gonna kick myself. The girl who's playing his love, who he's trying to win over, he's literally trying to charm her. He's trying to be this gentleman, courtly gentleman. And yeah, he's using some of the vampire powers, but he's still trying to court her. He's not, trying to just bite her and force her. And that is very much a Barnabas Collins move. Where now, so here is this character who did not choose to be a vampire. Dracula that we know of, he chose to be a vampire. Barnabas, our buddy Barnabas, was cursed by a beautiful blonde-haired woman named Angelique Bouchard from the Isles of Martinique, and she was a witch. And I love how Natalie, and shout out to Christine Pierce and Cara Tillies, and link to their channel will be in the description box. I love giving those ladies a shout out. They're great Dark Shadows fans, and her channel is super, super awesome. Between the Shadows, a Dark Shadows podcast, link to their channel will be in the description box. But they had brought up that, what was I going to say? Oh, God. You know, about how, Natalie Dupre, Josette's aunt, had brought up about Angelique's mom finally. And that was a great point that they had brought up in their last video they just did. And that video will be in the description box. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. When you get done listening to this, my insanity here, go listen to Christine and Kara. They're very, very, very good. And, when you look at that and you think about that, it goes, wow. I mean, look, I love the Judah Zachary stuff. But that right there sort of tells you that Angelique was born a witch, not made into one. I sort of look. I love Judah Zachary. I love the character. He's a great heel, but I more prefer that Angelique being born a witch. It made more sense to me. If you disagree, please do. Again, you guys know you most certainly can. So Barnabas gets cursed after shooting Angelique with a flintlock pistol. I've joked about Barnabas is the worst shot ever. Um, he barely won the poll against Hawkins. Mark Gilman, shout out to my buddy Mark. He barely won the poll. I think my buddy Mark was influencing the poll. But here's the thing too. Hawkins, he was a star. He was a stormtrooper. He was a stormtrooper. He was a time traveling stormtrooper. That's what that is, my friend. Little fun here. And this, look, I love doing these videos for you guys. They're a lot of fun to do. So Barnabas shoots her in the shoulder, and I honestly, in defense of Barnabas a bit, I really think just this shot is not as well aimed as he thought it was. I think he is. Barnabas has already shown he's not the best shot with a pistol in the door with Jeremiah. He's not the best shot with a pistol when he shoots Angelique. So he he shoots her in the shoulder. She curses him. She doesn't kill her. He doesn't kill her. She curses him. So Barnabas gets the bat comes through the window, and when I see the bat go through the window, I keep thinking of Angelique's words. I curse you, Barnabas Collins. And really, those words just ring out in your ears. The cursing of Barnabas and the bat biting. Obviously, Barnabas dies, and the rest is history, right? He comes back out of the coffin and becomes this vampire. And in many ways, Barnabas is the ultimate sympathetic hero. He's somebody who has battled witches, warlocks, zombies. He's been through it all and has seen it all. And really, so has Quentin. Now, to sort of get to Angel, Angel was played by David Boreas, and he really now is Angel a complete clone of Barnabas? You're gonna shoot me for this. Have better aim than Barnabas. No, not completely. I just said here at the beginning it's a bit of Barnabas and Quentin mix, but I do think what David brought to the character was his sort of he was bringing his own style to this character. Here's this character who, keep in mind, Barnabas, we don't see Barnabas get into many fights because of his vampire abilities. And he gets into scuffles, but Barnabas has never been into a fist fight but one fight, and that was with the last Lamar Trask. It wasn't a great fight. With Angel, with David, he is a way, his vampire had to literally fight. I mean, he was fighting for Buffy. He was helping Buffy. As much as I joked about Buffy in the beginning, he really he found her interesting, and he felt really sorry that here's this girl who did not ask for this. She gets put into this. And Angel's backstory is no slouch either. I've talked about he's a bit of Barnabas and Quentin both, and here's what I mean. Angel was a bit of a playboy. He loved the ladies, and really loving the ladies is sort of what gets him into the position he's in as well, where he's sleeps with this girl, doesn't treat her well, and she curses him. Is that the same thing? Not necessarily, because keep in mind, here's what I'll say. Angel more remembers who attempts to remember who did him wrong more so than Barnabas. I honestly think Barnabas applies the with Angelique he applies the love them and leave them role, or the two F's, and you know what those are. Role with Angelique. Yeah, I had sex. He was a teenager. I had sex with this beautiful blonde in Martinique. Uh, hey, Josette, I love you, Josette. And that's exactly what he does. He does love Josette, but in many ways, he has forgotten about Angelique until she shows up again, and as she's Josette's servant, and then it's like, oh, shit. Right? With Angel, I'll say this, and this is what I mean by separation. Angel is more willing to remember his past a little more. If you disagree, please do. And, he's supposed to, the only way he can not have a soul anymore, because remember, she gives this vampire a soul, and that's what causes him to really be like Barnabas. What causes Angel to be like Barnabas? Because prior to that, he's more Quentin than Barnabas. He's more this playboy. And now he has a soul, and he learned. I think the one thing Angel learns by having a soul is to really feel empathy, not just for Angel, but for the people around him, for humanity in general. It's something Barnabas had. It's something Barnabas has to relearn as well. The characters are similar to a very T, but the differences are this. And again, this isn't really fault of Dark Shadows. It was made in a different time. It doesn't get its own spin-off. Angel did get his own spin-off. Angel had his own TV show. Now, in fairness, Dark Shadows, look, I've talked about this. The Barnabas Collins arc, it never really ended for me. It's still going. The Barnabas Collins arc is the longest literal arc in Dark Shadows. It's an arc to me that never ends. Um, in my opinion, if you disagree, again, please do. With Angel, Angel gets his own spin-off and his actual own TV show titled Angel. It's set and filmed in Los Angeles, and it's really well done. It was very well written and very well performed by David. I really think, I joked about him sitting on a beach crying about Buffy. In reality, again, I've talked about this. He does not forget who he's been with, who his lovers have been, and just Buffy's one of them. He does care for her, but he's not so hung up on her. He's going to go to her and say, "Hey, let's get back together." That's not his style. He is more trying to move forward with his life and what life is going to be like for him in LA. And I really think that's something Angel doesn't get enough credit for is David I don't sit there and think David was trying to be Barnabas Collins at all while he played Angel. Again, yes, the character is inspired by Barnabas Collins. No question. No question at all. But I would also say the character is a bit inspired by Quentin Collins as well, and that doesn't get referenced enough. Look, if you guys disagree, please do. I welcome your opinion and feedback most certainly. For me, who do I prefer? Look, this channel is called Resident of Collinwood. Who do you think I prefer? I prefer Barnabas Collins. I do think Barnabas. He's the OG. He's the original. He's the best sympathetic vampire ever. Taking nothing away from David, I think the one thing, Dark Shadows, perhaps with Barnabas and Angel has in common, they have been, and uh, shout out to another friend of mine, Darnell Weeks again. We were talking about this a bit that they've wanted to bring Angel back again, but again, David's not getting any younger, and is he interested in doing the role? I don't know. I'll tell you this. I'll make a prediction, and I hope this comes true. I would more rather see David play if they reboot Stargate, play Colonel Jack O'Neill. And you know who that character is. That's who I'd rather see him play. Now, whether he'll get to play that or not, I don't know. Please, please let me know what you folks think. Again, link to Between the Shadows, a Dark Shadows podcast will be in the description box. Huge shout outs across the board. First of all, to Christine Pierce and Cara Tillies, Between the Shadows. Also to the Myers Fan 25, Darnell Weeks. His channel will also be in the description box. I want to also give some more shout outs, and yes, that means more descriptions, to the Collinsport Historical Society, at Cousin Barnabas, Wallace McBride, at the real Patrick McRae, at Real McRae, Patrick McRae. Huge shout out to you, my friend. Huge shout out to Killenberg, Daniel Culver. Huge and a big shout out and congratulations to Miss Penny Dreadful, Danielle. Huge shout out to all of you. Thank you to everybody who supports my channel. I hope you just enjoy the fun, of listening to my insanity. So, if you guys got any comments or questions, please hit me up. I'm on Twitter at Collinwood of. I'm also on Facebook, Joel T. Sains. If you have any questions about Dark Shadows or this video, um, please let me know. Put it in the comment section. Again, links to those channels, Between the Shadows, Myers Fan 25, Terror, Collinwood, link to the Collinsport Historical Society, all will be, link to Killenberg's channel will all be in the description box. Thank you all so very much for the support, um, and have a great day.